Hello and welcome to another episode of the djproject Criterion Collection. In this episode we talk about Spine 336, Dazed and Confused, directed by Richard Linklater, 1993. Do I really need to talk about this? Not because I think it's bad, far from it. It's one of the great cult classic comedies. A launching pad for it launched an acting career or two. It's it's very enjoyable. It's quotable. It's a lot of fun. I mean, what can you really say? I mean, what this is, it's a in a nutshell, it looks at the last. It starts at the last day of school at the last day of high school, and it just starts from there, going into the night, and then going into the next morning, and it's all these different characters that they have their own little stories and their own little, and it's all interweaved. In that sense, it's very similar to Slacker, where it unfolds over the course of a day, and there are multiple characters, and the feeling of it is more slice of life. In fact, the stakes are quite low, because really there's two major group of characters that you see. You have the incoming freshmen, and actually they're what they have to avoid is going through these painful initiation rites where they get subjugated and humiliated by the up and coming seniors. So the stakes are very low in some respects, but at the same time, it's also very important to them because that's what they know and that's what they're familiar with. Which leads into the other thing is that this performs in a very similar manner to The 400 Blows, where it portrays life honestly. It doesn't try to sugarcoat it, and it certainly avoids the assumption that these are the best years of your lives. And anybody who has gone through high school will say that that's bullshit. There's some things that admittedly, there are some things that I liked about high school, but I wouldn't want to go through it again. I've done it once, and that's it. I don't need to go through it again. But it shows it in a very, very honest way. In fact, the closest thing that you get to a persistent drama is, and actually the closest you get to a central protagonist is Randall Pink Floyd, who's slated to be, I think he's slated to be the starting quarterback for next year, and he is pressured by the coach to perform at his top, which means that he has to sign a pledge, and he has to get others in his team to sign it too, that he will refrain from any kind of alcohol or drug or anything illegal. Basically, don't screw it up. Don't do anything stupid that will ruin your chances to have a good season for next year. And he doesn't want to sign it. And I think a lot of it is that he does not like to be told what to do. And the other thing he's going through a kind of existential crisis where it's, do I really want to be a football player? This is kind of what people want me to be, but maybe if I want to be something else. So it's typical teenage angst, and that's what gives it a certain charm, is that it shows it in a very honest way. It doesn't glamorize it, but also doesn't condemn it either. You just see it, and then you can kind of take it in for yourself, and you certainly go along with it for the ride, and then you can say whether you enjoyed that trip or not, or you go, I'm glad I only had to do this once. So now I've compared this to Slacker. Now the difference is between Slacker and Dazed and Confused is that one, well, actually both of them are fairly self-contained, but this one's even more self-contained. It pretty much sticks with, whereas Slacker has this. You have this sense of like endless road or endless space because it goes from one character to the next, and really each character in that has its own moment. Then you move on to the next one, and you never really hear from them again. It doesn't go back full circle. Whereas here, everything moves, but it's all contained within the same group of people. And also, there are little arcs. It's not to say that things are resolved, and that's why I say that this is closer to slice of life, because you don't know what happens to really any of the characters. You know that they're going to go on to this next thing, but you don't know whether they're going to have a championship season or not. They're just talking about it. So really, it's just this one little moment in time that's just bracketed, and you see it for yourself, and that also makes it really inviting, because then you can kind of watch it, and then you let your own imagination take over. You can kind of imagine either your favorite possibilities or even multiple possibilities, which is also a very Linklater thing. If you know about the opening, the first scene in Slacker, it's you'll know what I'm talking. So that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, the other thing I really like about the packaging is if you go into the booklets, and some of they pepper little quotes. Probably the most memorable of quotes that you get from Dazed and Confused. Probably my favorite one is "Wipe that face off your head, bitch." is my favorite of them. But I don't want to spend all this time quoting all the lines, because one, you probably already know them, and two, that's kind of irrelevant. You pretty much have to, if you haven't seen this, go see this, and I think that you will be entertained by this. You should be entertained. I don't know a whole lot of people who don't like it. I don't think it's there's definitely a charm to it, and it's definitely worth viewing if you haven't viewed it. It's adolescence done right. The other thing about it is, the other thing I kind of like about this film is, or I can point out about this film, is that while the film itself did not have that initial commercial success, which is, in some ways, it's kind of unfortunate that it did, because I think this could have been the kind of film that, had there been some better marketing behind it, and all the producers were pissed off at this, that it really could have become something, and who knows what would have done for mainstream film in general, I think. But it was what it was. But what it demonstrated was that Linklater has a wide appeal. If he wants to appeal to a wide audience, he can, and not do it without destroying his dignity or dumbing down. And that's what makes it so great. This is the same guy that started the Austin Film Society, that was really big into Godard and Fassbinder, and yet was able to make something of that appeal. And the other thing to note about this film, as I said before, this is the film that launched an acting career or two. Among others, this is not the full list, but this is a pretty sizable list. You get Joey Lauren Adams, Ben Affleck, Rory Cochrane, Adam Goldberg, Mila Jovovich, Jason London, Matthew McConaughey, Parker Posey, and Marisa Risby. So that's how they all got their start. So either you really like them or you really hate them. You can attribute or blame this film for that. So, but yeah, like I said, if you like your comedies, you'll definitely like it. And again, the big takeaway, and the thing that I really like about it, is that it does portray adolescence in a very honest way, and not placing any kind of value judgment on it. And you come away thinking, you know what, I kind of remember stuff like that, and yeah, I like that, and yeah, I didn't really like that either. I will also say it does kind of when you there's a lot of emphasis on driving around. There's people who love to drive around, and the few moments where you go into a gas station, you can't help but notice the price of gas, and you're like, damn it. Why wasn't it that low? Well, I know there's other factors into why it was that low and such, but at any rate, but it's like, damn it. But yes, high recommendation. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fun. It's sometimes you need to see a nice fun film. As fun as it is to talk about films with weighty themes and heavy ideas and great expressions, sometimes you just need to chug a beer or two and just have a good time. And if you're so inclined, you can also smoke a bowl. Yeah, there's a lot of that too. In a subtle way too, but at any rate. So yeah, very, very enjoyable. So yeah, Dazed and Confused. And until next time, take care.